Turkey now. Turkish President Erdogan is in the NATO summit in Washington, D.C.
Turkey is very interesting as a NATO member. Of course, we can understand that they play a bit of a double game, or whatever you want to call it, with Russia. They share the Black Sea with Russia, and they're very close, and that's not illegitimate. If you take a higher altitude view, though, look at what happened. NATO is supposed to be the Western alliance of democratic countries arrayed against the axis of resistance, shall we call it, in Turkey. In fact, is no longer the country that was admitted into NATO. When NATO admitted Turkey, in exchange for the Incirlik Air Force Base and the convenience of the land bridge to Asia and the rest of it, Turkey was Turkey that Ataturk built, that was clearly pro-Western, that was reliably run by the army, basically, in a pro-Western way. Erdogan is not that at all. Erdogan could turn on a dime and be allied with Russia, as we see, and yet he's a NATO member. Is this NATO member a friend of NATO? I'm not entirely sure. Remember that NATO's big success was the expansion to Finland and Sweden over the past year or so. He opposed it and barely allowed it. So Turkey is a big problem, but it's not even number one problem of NATO. The number one problem that will cast a pall on this entire summit in Washington is what happens if Trump is elected in November, and there's every chance that he will himself seek to undermine the alliance led by the U.S.
That's a bigger issue, a smaller issue, or actually a stickier issue, but a small country, Cyprus. What's going on with this?
A small country that still Turkey has big eyes on, because when it comes to this, they're warning basically Cyprus not to get involved when it comes to Hezbollah and the war that's kind of looming over in the north. Erdogan is very, very vocal. He continues to support the Palestinian resistance and the axis of resistance, so to speak. And so when it comes to Hezbollah, they continue to say that they will support Lebanon no matter what. And it was just two weeks ago, actually, that the Turkish foreign minister claimed that Turkey has some intelligence documents that Cyprus has been allowing its airspace to be used by certain countries to conduct different flights and reconnaissance missions over its airspace when it comes to the war in Gaza. Now, it didn't say which countries, but this caught Turkey's attention and said, hey, stay out of the war when it comes to the war in the north and the war in Gaza, and don't let Israel take advantage of your airspace. And so it's a small country, but Turkey's still kind of warning them. And this is the EU's member state that has the closest proximity to Lebanon. So Turkey's still stating, okay, make sure that you aren't getting too close. Cyprus, on the other hand, also says this is no way a legitimate claim, and we haven't let anyone use this airspace, specifically not Israel.
By the way, lest we forget, Turkey can control much of Cyprus's airspace because 50 years ago they occupied half of it, and there they remain.
Right. Too many wars.